Hey, folks, we're back with another episode of the Three Men and an Anime. Woohoo!
Hooray!
We have returned!
Yes, this time we are doing yet another season 2. This time it's Eric's choice. Although, dear Lord, I came real freaking close to actually picking this myself as opposed to Yamato.
Yeah, this is Eric's choice because he got there first. I think we were all going to suggest it at some point.
Yeah! I think if Eric hadn't picked it, Gav might have on his round.
Yeah.
And if Gav hadn't, I would have on my next pick. Because we had to get to this because we loved Mob Psycho Season 1. I think
Mob Psycho Season 1 is really, really good.
And this was a total letdown in comparison.
Oh, it's the worst, man. I mean, we hated this. We hated the show. It was terrible. I'm a terrible liar. So we've got, since it's a season 2, we've got the wonderful thing of not having to recap all the characters.
Yes, that is true.
And most of the characters are here again. We've got Mob, we've got Terumi, we've got Regan, we've got Mob's brother, we've got Dimple, we've got the Body Improvement Club, who continue to be awesome.
The telepathy research club,
who are less important this season, but we've got these the young psychics who are not that impressive that they saved from Claw last season. They're more impressive this season.
Yes.
They're still out of their league, but they're more impressive. And we got most of the enforcers, the Scars, the enforcers from Claw, they're back in a less antagonistic role.
Yeah, they show up really late in the story, though.
They do. Does anybody else of note that's around from the previous seasons?
The remnants of Dimple's cult.
The remnants of Dimple's cult are still around, and the Mob's classmate, who's a reporter, is around still.
Yeah.
She has more of a role this season than she did last season, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially early on. So season 2 of Mob Psycho basically just builds from where season 1 left off. Much like season 1, it's got its own story arc, and it establishes the story arc and completes the story arc.
To be fair, it's got about 3 different story arcs.
It's got 3 sub-arcs within it, but there's an overarching arc to it, though, which ties into the overarching arc of season 1 and the narrative of Mob Psycho.
Yeah,
as a whole,
directly into it all ties into the themes of Mob Psycho in general.
Yep.
Yes. Mob Psycho as a whole has an arc. This season has an arc. There are 3 mini arcs within this arc.
Yeah. Arc.
Mob Psycho's like an onion.
It really is.
It makes you cry.
It almost did at least a couple of times.
Yeah, to be fair.
It tried.
God. Mob is not the author is not the best at kicking you in the balls when you're not expecting it emotionally.
Yeah, he's no Futurama,
but he's good. God damn, he's good. There are a couple of moments. There are several sort of melancholy and sort of sad moments that are really well done, fit into the story, and our character development, and they're great. There is a giant emotional kick in the nuts that happens at one point. Which fortunately the bastard makes a cliffhanger. And dear God, I was watching this week to week. First time. Yeah.
No. I learned my lesson. I waited till it was finished.
Oh, I'm glad I watched it week to week. I got to enjoy that. I actually enjoyed that cliffhanger because I was like, I don't know where one's going with this, because it could follow through on what it's saying on screen. That's actually possible, knowing one. Or it could be going into... It could be a bit of a fake-out. And it was the latter, but it was well done, and it served the narrative.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a, torment the viewers and make them, see, we faked you out. No, it was no, we faked the characters out, too.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point, is it was setting Mob up to put Mob into a bad position and have he needed help to basically talk him down from that. Because one of the major themes of the season and of Mob Psycho as a whole is interpersonal connections and how
No man's an island.
Yes.
It's basically like,
yeah,
boil it down to a cliched phrase, no man's an island.
yep, people need people basically, and it's actually really, and they really do a really good job at sort of pointing this out in sometimes subtle ways and sometimes like a giant clue by four upside the head. It's so yeah. I think. I mean, we got to talk a little bit about some of the new characters. We do get to meet. Oh, we also get more of the kid from the end of that showed up at the end of the fight against Claw.
Oh, right.
He shows up again.
The one that everyone's scared of.
The one that everyone in Claw was scared of and seemed very impressive, and he continues to be very impressive. He's probably the second most powerful psychic in the show. Well, third most powerful psychic in the show.
Third most powerful.
Yeah.
And the show is just. So the thing that really kicked my ass was like episode 1 or 2, where this girl, where this Bob gets convinced to try to run for student council president because despite being mob. and makes a bit of a fool of himself because mob, like
he freezes up when he's to give a speech. He gets up there, stands there, and goes and
doesn't say anything for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So this girl comes up to him later on. She's all like, "Yeah, I was really impressed with your courage getting up there. I mean, you didn't say anything, but you were clearly really scared. But you went through with it anyway. That's awesome. We should date." And Bob's like, "Okay."
He turns her down. It turns out.
Yeah, he turns her down, but he still hangs out with her.
Yes, because he thinks because Mob is a nice guy, and he's like, yeah, she seems like a nice person. I'd like to hang out with her. I don't want to completely just reject her because that would be mean. But it's very clear. Mob's like, yeah, I'm not in a position to date anybody.
My eyes on someone else, and
he's got that
psychological mess, but we should still hang out.
Right.
So they're going through the motions of dating like the way middle schoolers will, without the very chaste, idealized middle schoolers will. Let's say, and Mom's just being a nice guy, a little, quiet and awkward, but a nice guy. And
I know,
like, everybody,
and he's very Mob.
Yes.
Yeah,
and she's like, I've been writing a novel. You should read it. So he sits down and reads it, and he's legitimately impressed by it. But being Mom is like, wow, use a lot of really big words in this. I'm impressed. And she takes it the wrong way. It's like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. One, if you don't like it, then just fucking say so.
And he's like, no. And he explains, I'm just really awkward. I don't know how to say this sort of stuff.
Right. And she's like, you know what? It doesn't matter anymore because this is all a joke. My friends dared me to ask you I was a joke, and then we kept hanging out, so I think we're dating, but I can't do this anymore. Screw it. I'm leaving.
She basically said, you're actually just too nice to screw with like this.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not fun. It's like, nah, I'm sorry, Mom. And Mom's like,
so she gets up to leave him because they're hanging out in that one embankment that by a canal, which is in every anime.
Pretty much, yeah.
And she runs into her friends at the top in the embankment, and she's like, and they're like, ha ha ha, they're making fun of him, da da da, and it's like, yeah, we're real jerks. Let's go. Hey, is that what the hell is this? Oh, that's just the novel I was reading. This is dumb. They tear it up, and she's.
Yeah, well, she basically says, it's just something I was working on. It's not important. They're like, it's not important. We can tear it up then. She's like, I guess.
Yeah, sure, jerk off friend that I don't want to piss off. And Mob sticks up for her, and he's like, no, you shouldn't throw it out. Why would you do that? That's terrible. She worked really hard on this. And he starts picking up the scattered pieces of the thing. and her jerk off friends make fun of him. It's like, we're gonna go to the arcade or shopping or whatever dumbass thing we're gonna go do. It's like, and she goes, I'm gonna stay behind and help him out. So I'll catch up with you guys later. And they spend like the rest of the afternoon like gathering up this big pile, and the wind comes and blows it away. And she's like, I don't even know why we were doing this. This was clearly pointless, but thanks anyway. Mob just gets this a very Mob look on his face, which after you've been watching this show is, Jesus Christ, the animators know what the hell they're doing with Mob's expression.
Yes, they do, dear Lord.
Like, move a pixel over and he like goes from like ecstatic to sad.
Yeah.
And he uses his powers to recombobulate the entire novel, each piece of paper, everything in order. Bends everything back together and hands it back. He's just like, yeah, I'm also a psychic.
I want to say the animation for the reassembly of the novel was just it was beautiful, just beautiful.
I'm not going to mention the animation in the show because it is fucking stellar and must be viewed. I cannot describe this properly.
Oh, I can't describe it.
Episode, the first time I saw it with Peter, I was utterly silent except for the occasional muttering, it keeps getting better.
I will say this, I will probably call out a couple of things where I say, this particular scene was stunning.
Yes.
I can't explain exactly how it was stunning. I don't have enough technical jargon for it. I don't know enough about animation to... This scene, though, was just it was beautiful. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. No, it's like very well done, very like artistically great, well done. The characters, like the interaction between the characters and the objects and the frame rate used.
Yeah, they weren't just animating the paper reassembling. The characters are reacting to watching it reassemble.
Blades of grass on the encampment.
It's gorgeous.
Disney wishes they could pull this shit.
I mean, they can, they just don't always.
Well, they used to be able to.
Oh, they still can.
Sure.
They still can, but everything's going to be done,
They can't really do 2D as well as they used to.
No.
They've largely shunted away that entire...
But
anyway, back to the subject at hand. So yeah, it's like stuff like that happens all the time in this show. Just these gorgeously animated, powerful emotional moments that are just really sweet and have nothing to do with making people's heads explode.
That is one thing that I pointed out as well as from a spectacle standpoint, it's not as like from the over like, oh my god, everything's exploding, the screen is on fire kind of thing. There's not quite as much in this season as there was in
up until the last couple of episodes. Yes.
Well, from a technical standpoint, of like, this is what good animation is. It's the little beats you don't even realize are happening.
And they're still doing the whole mixed media thing every once in a while, but they're a lot less blatant about it. They're no longer like sticking their dick on the table. They've already stuck it on the table. You've looked at it. They don't need to show off anymore.
Oh God. Yeah. So, but like that's this is just the scene. Just like ignoring the animation. It's just this wonderful moment too. And
yes.
And like so,
the whole show is filled with stuff like.
Oh yeah, and I love the little bit that Mob's crush Tsubomi's further down the embankment. Have you seen this? She's like, that was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
It's like, what? And the last little bit is like, this doesn't end with Mob and the girl going out. They're friends.
No, they're just friends.
But she's like, she's inspired to write a new story.
Right.
Because it's an Esper in middle school. Hey, that's an idea.
Why didn't I think of that?
I mean, so I think that's a wonderful. I love that little touch that it's like inspired. Like this meeting and getting to know Mob has inspired her as an author.
Yes,
that's cool.
And this is like the first couple episodes.
That's like episode 2.
Yeah.
We continue on to Mob is Mob and Regan. Regan's put together a website to. He's like, I should have a website to get more customers. And before this, they actually Regan basically not getting a lot of work. So in town, it's like we're gonna go out of town and to a different town and pick me to try to find some customers there. And this leads to them getting hired eventually to basically track down and exercise these various supernatural creatures from urban legends in this area. But we're introduced to this other sort of professional psychic world that we didn't know existed. Of actual psychics doing actual psychic work, not just and Regan assumes they're all your classic psychic charlatans.
Yeah, but apparently there's a union.
But there's apparently an actual psychic union, yes. And there's a line later on that implies that, there are psychics who work for the government and for, the police and the military that we just don't see very often. When you think about it, that actually makes sense given the world. Because, Mob revealing he's an Esper doesn't freak anybody out. They're like, oh, he's an Esper. Neat. Oh, they're apparently Espers are not a completely unheard of thing in this world.
Yeah. And that's, it shouldn't come as a surprise given the way they sort of come out of the woodwork in season 1.
Right, exactly. No, it doesn't.
It's a further expansion of world building. It's this is all stuff that was going on in the background that we didn't feel the need to mention because it wasn't important yet.
Right, exactly. But yeah, the first of the union psychics we meet is a really nice guy. He seems like a really cool guy. He seems like a good, nice guy. And he ends up helping them out, and they do stop some urban legends. And
some of them are shit like, we have to find a human-faced dog. It's a fucking corgi with marker on its face.
I think it might have been Shiba Inu, but yeah.
I think it was a Shiba Inu. And they're like, okay, well, it's a really nice dog, and it's bad for the dog to have Sharpie on its face. Let's just clean up the dog.
Owned by this really sweet, really old man who really has no idea what's going on.
Yes.
And another one of the urban legends is this dude in a red trench coat flashing kids because he's a terrible, awful person.
It turns out it is, in fact, a terrible, awful person flashing kids in a red trench coat.
Yep.
And not some supernatural monster. Yeah, he gets what's coming to him, honestly.
To be fair, the bit where, because the one that tracks him down is the new professional psychic we meet. And he has this moment where he's trying to, ask the kids about it, and, have you seen this guy? What's going on? And he's just completely flubs all of his interactions with them, and the kids start thinking that he's a creep and he's gonna flash them. And they're
he's like, no,
I'm trying to find the flasher. Not, oh God, why would you think that of me?
There's also little bits where the flasher it's like, aha, you're this fat dude, I can totally take you. I used to do sumo. I'm leaving. I also used to. It's and the guy keeps up with us what the hell? I used to run track also. What?
He's not a svelte person at all.
No.
He's actually a fat dude.
Well, you look at sumo. I believe that.
Yes.
Used to run track. Wait, what?
What?
That was before he did sumo, but it's implication, and it wipes him out. He's like, oh God, I haven't run in a long time. But yeah, and it turns out that the third of the urban legends, the Dragger, that one's actually real.
Yeah, they basically run into the Japanese equivalent of Slender Man.
Yeah, and it turns out it's not actually it's not a normal spirit. It's actually a manifestation of urban legends.
Yeah,
which means most psychic stuff doesn't work well on it, and in fact, it feeds off of your fear of it.
Someone's been watching American Gods.
Yeah.
Quite possibly, actually.
Or reading Terry Pratchett. That's how the gods work. Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, and the more famous it is, the more believable it is, the more powerful it is.
And the more people who know it, right? Exactly. Mob, of course, and it has no effect on Mob because Mob's never heard of this thing.
And he's like, "Oh, it's an evil spirit. Okay, I could do that." And they're like, "Do you not? Have you never heard of this thing?" No. They don't tell these kids this stuff. Kids don't talk about this stuff. Well, no one really talks to me at school.
I mean, so... maybe they do, but they don't talk to me about it.
It's an evil spirit. I've seen worse. I saw worse last week.
But yeah, one of the things Mob saves the day because there's a great bit where Dimple possesses the other psychic dude, and
You get some great like whooshy human hunting.
It's great
kung fu battle. It's pretty amazing.
The bit about it that I do like is that even when Dimple takes over, like this other psychic guy does have legitimate like anti-spirit defense like techniques,
right?
But even Dimple's own fear of this thing, like, gives it power. So it doesn't matter how hard or how strong they fight against it. Their own fear is giving it this extra power, and then Mob shows up. It's just like, it's like, right.
But one of the things that goes on throughout this first half of the season is Mob sort of, Mob's, has season one and often would say to Regan, please don't call me just out of nowhere.
Right.
And Mob is getting more annoyed by this as it's going along because Mob is actually getting an actual life outside of work. He's got friends now, between the Psychic Club and the Body Improvement Club, they're actually his friends. Like
they hang out outside of school.
Yeah.
Like there's a bit where it's actually an important plot bit where the Body Improvement Club is like, all right, so after our workout, we're gonna go celebrate. I forget his name, Bob's birthday, and some guy in the telepathy club's like, oh yeah, it was my birthday last week, and everyone's like, why didn't you say anything? All right, we're all gonna go get lunch and go to karaoke and hang out.
Like the Body Improvement Club's like, Body Improvement Club, you're like, yeah, let's bring the Double Up in the Club with us. Cool. We hang out. It's like they hang out in this room all the time. We become friends over time.
Yeah. They're all droogs at this point.
Yeah.
The Telepathy Club doesn't do the whole body improvement thing, and they don't do the slacking that the Telepathy Club does.
Right. But they seem to like and respect each other as people.
Yeah. Like they're clearly droogs. It's clearly just a bunch of friends hanging out.
And so they go out to this restaurant and they're going to go to karaoke afterwards. Well, they go to the restaurant first. And they're like, oh, we should go to karaoke. And Mom's like, Mom's like, I don't really go to karaoke. And they're like, oh, we're definitely bringing you, dude. You're going to have so much fun.
Bringing you. You're going to karaoke and you're singing the most embarrassing song we can find. It's fine. Once you get into it, it'll be great.
But Regan calls and drags him away. And Mom's like, but okay, I'm sorry, guys. I can't go to karaoke. I've got to get my work.
It's not so much just that, though. It's the fact that, Mob actually does make an attempt to stand up. He says, I'm kind of in the middle of something. And Regan's like, what, you're going to tell me you've got friends now? Come on. They're not your real friends.
Well, Regan's like, what? You can tell me you're like at hanging out at a restaurant or something with a bunch of friends? Come on, dude. The client's are really scared and I can't do this on my own. And Mom's like, okay, fine. The client's frightened. I'll go.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Regan is unintentionally sort of, he's not really meaning to try to really put Mob down.
Yeah, he's not being mean about it, but it's just
he's kind of mean about it.
He is.
He's kind of mean about it, and
more from familiarity though. He's like, it's not that he's outwardly being mean. It's just that it's got to that point naturally where he can just override whatever Mob's doing. That it just happens.
Yeah, but the thing is that over time, it's you can see Mob's getting more and more annoyed, and Regan realizes on a couple occasions where he says something like, oh, I shouldn't have really said that. And then there's one time where he says something, Mob is like, you know what? I'm done. I gotta go. Bye. And Regan's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
I stepped in it. Oh.
Because Mob actually does have...
After that job's done, Mob's like, please don't do that again. I was with friends celebrating their birthday. It was rude to pull me away from that. It hurt them too. That wasn't cool, not as eloquently as that, and that was not terribly.
Yeah, it's Mob being Mob and awkward. I mean,
right, and
this is where Regan really sort of gets kind of crappy about it.
And Regan's like, "What? They're not your friends. They're just using you. I mean, come on, man. Obviously, like, who would hang out with you like that? That's." And Mom's like, "You know what? They are my friends, and I think I need some time apart from you." And Regan and he stomps off. Regan's like, oh, that was a really shitty thing to say. Oh, I should I'll apologize when he comes back in, which will probably be tomorrow.
And then Mob doesn't show up for a few days.
Yeah.
And Regan's like, oh.
And Regan's Regan's pride starts getting in the way because he's not going to go crawling back to.
Mob's a middle schooler. He's an adult.
Yeah, come on, man. I'm not going to go crawling back to him. He's like fucking 12. I mean, he'll get over it, and then things will be fine again. And
yeah, we start seeing some of Regan's backstory, which is kind of neat. We find out he used to work at a corporate office, and then one day he just got fed up with it and quit.
As you do.
And
I wish I could.
Then he sort of looked. He rented an office he rented a sort of small office on a whim to do something with. And it was like, okay, what the fuck am I going to do for my living? And he sees this, advertisement for a telepsychic, and he's like, huh. Yeah, what the hell? And we see that, and him sort of going through his things. And Regan's sort of like, I really didn't mean to, I wasn't planning on to keep doing this for a long time. I was getting really bored with the whole fake psychic thing. I was effective, almost everyone I did to help, everyone who came in basically is like, yeah, I just helped them out with basically either like a massage or aromatherapy or, some Photoshop.
Or just gave them some really basic advice they needed to hear.
It's like I'm basically just a masseuse who gives life coaching.
Yeah. At the same time, his during this period, his business is actually picking up, and it's just him doing his usual cold reading plus general Reganness, and it's taking off because he's not getting actual fucking paranormal stuff. It's back to the usual of oh yeah, no, it's here's some salt, here's some Himalayan rock salt, and that should chase off the bad vibes of the curse. You'll be fine.
And and he's cherry picking stuff that he's jobs from his website that he knows are that's probably not an actual actual psychic phenomenon. I can bullshit my way through that. There's a wonderful one where it's there's a ghost haunting this PvP MMO, and Regan's like, all right. Not actually ghosts, it's just some twink playing way too much. You counteract a twink playing way too much? Play even more. And spend lots of money on the goddamn account, on the cat shop.
See him playing 8 accounts all at once, just level grinding and just taking his one guy down.
Not sleeping for a week.
Yeah.
And he defeats him and breaks the ghost. And everyone's like, oh my god, he beat the ghost in the game. No psychic would touch him. He's like, we can't, our psychic powers don't go into the game. If the game's haunted, there's nothing we can do. And Regan's like, it's not haunted, it's just an idiot. It's just an asshole who plays too much.
It's just some asshole.
It's just some asshole who's being an asshole.
I mean, technically it has no life, but it's not a ghost.
But yeah, so Regan's doing fairly okay for himself, except that he's lonely.
Yeah.
It's a really cool it is a really cool little revelation they have where Regan's he's not particularly stalking Mob, but he sees him out in the street.
Oh, he's not stalking him at all. He literally just happens to see Mob out.
Yeah,
on his own.
But the hiding behind the sandwich board is a little bit weird.
Well, he didn't want Mob to see him.
Yeah. And he realizes that Mob actually is out with friends. People are talking. He's got. They actually are being friends with him.
And Regan actually is weirdly actually kind of happy for Mob about that. He's like he's like, oh well. If he's got actual friends, that's great.
I guess he doesn't need me anymore. That's fine. I can keep doing what I need to do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need him. He doesn't need me. It's fine. And, he's talking to Dimple about this, and Dimple's like, okay.
He's like, dude, you are full of shit.
And Regan sort of gives Dimple crap like, yeah, well, if Bob keeps going this path, you're never going to be able to take advantage of him for your ends either. And Dimple's like, whatever, dude. Because Dimple has moved sort of kind of past it. It's like Dimple outwardly still has this I need to manipulate.
I need to build him up so I can take him over and become even more powerful. But that's just his pretense for hanging out with Mob and Regan, because he likes hanging out with Mob and Regan.
I think Dimple's come to the realization that he couldn't possess Mob even if he tried.
Oh no, no. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Also, there's also the fact that he's actually trying to be a mentor for Mob in his own twisted Dimple sort of way.
Yeah.
Both Mob...
Like I said, he actively likes to hang out with them. He cares about these two guys.
But he definitely wants to help Mob be a better psychic and a better person.
Right.
It's just that, his views on what being a better person are is a little bit different than some people's. Same with Regan.
Quite a bit.
Dimple for an evil spirit is not that bad, but...
That's true.
In fact, his hanging around with Mob makes him a better spirit, a better person.
Yes.
Mob has this tendency to do that to people. But the big thing that happens is that Regan basically gets invited on a television show to, it's his big fame break, and he's like, he's all excited, and there's another psychic in the show. And it ends up revealing that he's, a fraud, basically.
Yeah. It was set up by the other psychic to
screw with him.
Regan, because, it's a bit of vengeance because the other psychic totally got his ass kicked in a previous episode by something Mob and Regan took care of.
Which we should mention, actually. That's actually really fucking important.
Fucking amazing and beautiful.
And also important.
In every sense of the word. Yeah.
So, the important bit is one of the jobs that Regan and Mob get called in on is...
Let's finish off the story.
Oh, yeah, we should finish the story about Regan. You're right. So yeah, he gets humiliated, and, now it's this, big scandal, and, he is being stalked by paparazzi. And Regan's just eventually, Regan's literally getting chased down the street by reporters, and one of them goes, "Aren't you going to hold a press conference?" He goes, "Yes, on this state and this location. I'm going to go book it now."
There is one other thing that I actually really liked, mixed in with all this. I just want to point out as well, there's one scene where it goes back to Regan's... his backstory, basically, when he was setting up an office and how he got started. And it was this one regular bar that he goes to.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And it's the same regulars there now that were there when he first started. And the second he walks in, they're like, "Oh, Regan-san!" And instantly, they're talking about their problems and this, that, and other, and telling him this and what's happened. And it's like, oh, God, it's like I've never been away. And it's like, as he's going through and giving him these basic bits of coaching and everything else, exactly as he did however many years ago or months ago it was, he comes to the realization that if this is just after he's seen Mob out with friends, it's like, wow, actually, thinking about it, these are the closest I've got to friends. And all they want is my...
Well, the thing is that he's looking at them, he's like, they kind of want to take advantage of his, his knowledge, but they're also prime marks for con artists, all of them. And Regan doesn't really take advantage of them for that, because while he is sort of a con artist, he's not really one. I mean, he is, but
Regan's a con artist in that he'll do cold reads and everything else, but he's not a predator. You have to come to him.
Also, he gives actual service.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily what you want, and sometimes it's better you get
it's not necessarily what you think you wanted, but it is what you needed.
Usually.
Yeah, he trades in placebos.
Yes.
But it's like, oh yeah, this woman needed a neck massage because her neck muscles were all screwed up, and that's why she gets these heavy weight. Feels like she's got weight on her shoulders, and why she thinks she's haunted. And then he met Mob and was able to actually deal with actual paranormal stuff because he had Mob there. But at any rate, so yeah, even the people in the bar turned on Regan after he's revealed as a fake.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "Oh, you're a fake. You were clearly preying on us." And Regan's like, never mind.
I never took money from you guys, but okay, fine.
Yeah, and it's that bit where he gets to that point where he's literally he realizes Mob actually has more people in his life than Regan ever did, and at this point he's completely alone.
But he does the press conference thing, and he's just like,
he's going to his plan is to read an apology. And he's sitting up there, he's got the apology ready, and everyone's sitting there talking, and he's like, "You know what? Fuck these assholes. They really just want to see me suffer. I'm not going to let them fucking see me suffer. I'm going to do what I do best, and that is talk around the situation."
So it's like, they asked him, it's like, he basically points out, okay, yeah, can any of you prove I don't have psychic powers? And they're all like, can we? I don't think we actually proved that he doesn't.
So what you're saying is that all those things you did with psychic powers were real. No comment. What do you mean no comment? Because unless I admit guilt, you aren't going to take it. So no comment. He's basically being the big a giant defiant asshole.
I love that line though, because that is such a fucking attitude of this day and age. It's like, unless I actually admit that I'm doing what you're saying I'm doing, you're not going to believe me anyway, so I don't. Why bother saying anything?
And in his case, that was the absolute truth. Like,
no, it was a bunch of paparazzi out for blood.
Oh yeah, totally.
And because no one else gives a shit whether or not he's a real psychic or not.
And he basically starts talking, giving an actual sort of interview about himself where he won't answer certain questions, but they're finding out stuff about him. They're like, what the hell's going on here? What?
Yeah. He's answering truthfully, but he'll go like, no, that's a trap and I'm not walking into it. Next question.
They're like, fuck, this guy's good.
And Bob's walking down the street and he sees this on TV. He's like, well, I'll be back. One of his classmates mentions it to him. And he's like, oh, it's all part of his plan. It's Regan. He's got an angle. I'm not sure what it is, but it's Regan. He's got an angle.
So yeah, and basically, someone asked him a question that hits Regan sort of at home where Regan really is.
Really gets under his skin.
So what is it you want to be? And he's like, fuck.
And that's when Mob quietly steps in and levitates everything in the room.
It's not even that. It's that Regan starts answering the question, but doesn't answer the question. He just starts talking, just completely off point, and starts going through this really heartfelt apology.
But it's not. He's not actually apologizing for what he's done. He's apologizing to Mob.
Yeah.
It's his apology to Mob over the air, which is really neat.
Yeah.
Unbelievably sweet.
Is like, what the fuck is he on about? Who's he talking to?
And that's when Mob starts levitating everything in the room. And everyone's like, wait, what? Is he actually a psychic? What the fuck?
Regan, being Regan, just sits there. His face doesn't even crack. It's just like...
It's like, are you doing this, Regan? And he's like, you tell me.
Am I? Yeah. Do you think I've got powers?
And so he walks out and runs into Mob, and they have a little chat. And Regan basically tells him, he confesses to Rob, look, Rob, I'm not what you think I am. I'm
a fake. I don't have any powers.
And Mob tells him, like, Regan, I know what you are. I always have. And Regan's like, oh. Huh.
Here's the thing. What Mob says is, I know exactly what you are. You're a genuinely good person.
Yes.
He's like,
yes.
But he says first, he does first say, I've always known what you are.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He says, I know what you are. I've always known. You're a genuinely good person.
Now, there's definitely an implication that Mob knows that he's a fraud. As a psychic.
I think they leave it vague.
No, but it's implied.
It's heavily implied that Mob knows and has always known, but really just needed a friend and someone to give him advice.
But Regan's been a really good mentor for him, especially even with his powers. He's been really helpful in that category. Because Mob hasn't needed someone to show him how to use his powers. He's been showing someone how to use his powers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he doesn't need someone to show him how to use his powers. He needs someone to show him when to use his powers.
Yeah, and in what way to use them.
Yes.
But yeah, so basically Regan's like, yeah, let's go get ramen. And they sort of fall back into their original third thing. So the story bit we skipped over, which we really have to touch on briefly. Oh boy. They get brought into a job. This is right before this, which is where Regan pissed off the head of the Psychics Union. There's this girl, the daughter of a very, very wealthy man who's been possessed, and he wants psychics to get her unpossessed. And basically a boatload of psychics answer the question.
Now he basically calls in every psychic that in the business, including Regan and the mob.
Yep, and so he's got her locked up behind a sort of glass panel and chained to her bed because she's possessed by an evil spirit, like a really bad one. And so, okay, so how are we gonna figure out who's gonna go first? And they basically Regan basically says, okay, look, let's just play rock paper scissors for it. And rock paper scissors actually being a psychological game.
Regan's amazing at it.
Yeah, he wins. He's like, I never lose at rock paper scissors. All right, we're going to talk to the girl, and he talks to the girl for a while.
And she's like talking about like, oh yeah, like Papa's like gone kind of crazy. I was a little disobedient, but now Dad's like got me chained to the bed and he's beating me. And it's really terrible. Can you please let me out of here? My father's crazy. And everyone's sitting there watching this, and like the dad's going like, but that's not true. And everyone's like giving him the stink eye and everything. Regan comes out and everyone's like, she's not possessed, so you're a horrible person. Regan's like, are you guys idiots? Did you listen to anything she said? She's literally possessed by an evil spirit. That's not her.
That's not a 12-year-old girl in there. She couldn't keep the terms she used for her father straight. She didn't talk like a 12. He just lets all the stuff off. And if you listen to her dialogue, you're like, holy fuck, Regan's completely right. They put it on screen.
This is the brilliant thing about this. Like I said, the writing of this show.
Holy shit!
It's literally a case of Regan comes out of that room and schools everyone in the room and the audience because not a fucking one of you spotted that.
Yeah.
I miss the different terminology thing. I'm like, and he puts it on. I'm like,
I did too.
And I'm like, oh fuck, she did. Oh wow, well played.
It's really just subtle psychology of the conversation. It's not like really obvious, like what's it called? What's the film called with the possession?
Oh, I forget. The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. That's it. Yeah, think of it. Yeah, so it's not like really obvious. The Exorcist, like it's a
there's no fire hose of like pea soup, no heads turning around, no levitating.
But there's also no like mature sort of, it's not that overtly obvious. It's not an adult speaking through a child's body or something else speaking through a child's body. It's close enough that if you're not paying attention, it'll pass.
Oh, it's what it is a very skilled liar of an adult pretending to be a child talking through a child's mouth.
Yes.
So Regan gives his speech about like listing like all the tells and giveaways and like and scolding them for not paying attention to this very basic important stuff if you're going to do psychic any kind of exorcism. And everyone's like, what? And the little girl who is supposed to be isolated, not being able to hear any of this, goes, fuck, you are really good, and busts out of her bonds.
That was the first tell. It's like, he came in and she calls him like a psychic or
right.
Psychic. And it's like, well, considering, that was the first tell, considering she's in a soundproof room, how the fuck did she know I was a psychic? And they're all like, oh.
Yeah, then she shatters the glass. She busts her out of her bonds and shatters the glass. And
it starts remote controlling various psychers.
And she possesses the head of basically the spirit in her leaves her body and possesses the head of the psychic unit, and Regan knees him in the jaw, knocks him out.
Anti-possession knee strike.
Yes. God, I love Regan. And the ghost's like, well, fuck, well done, fine, I'll just possess the girl. And Regan's like, okay, yeah.
Well, I can't kick her ass. That's not good.
Mob, can you do something? I was like, okay, yeah. Meanwhile, Dimple's going, guys.
You have no idea what you're dealing with. I know that dude. He is bad news.
And Regan's like, really? What do you mean by that? And he proceeds to explain exactly what this is. It's the ghost of a former really powerful psychic who originally was one of the good guys, but kind of fell to the dark side.
And
hard
eating other
well, yeah, before that he was kind of killing people for the government as an assassin to pay for his mother's medical bills.
No, not for the government, for the mob.
For the mob, you have to pay for his mother's medical bills.
Yeah.
Straight up psychic assassin.
Yeah, and it turned out that part of the reason she was getting worse is because he was hanging around with her and was going evil. And his evil aura was actually making her worse.
Yeah.
So he was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to start eating every evil spirit so that when I die, I'll be stupendously powerful. And then I will inflict pain and suffering on everyone else just as a little bit of vengeance upon the world for doing this to me and my mother.
So
yeah. So Dimple's like, yeah, I don't know how you're going to get him out of there. He's stuck in there. And Mom's like, I can go into the dreamscape. I can go into the dreamscape and fight him in there. That shouldn't be too tough. And everyone's like, that's a bad idea, Mob. No, well, what are our other options?
And they're like, running away? Oh, he's got the door blocked.
Or to the point, Mom's not going to run away because the girl's possessed. She doesn't deserve that, so he's going to go and save the girl. So he goes and does the whole dreamscape thing. And, like, everyone's kind of panicking, beating on the doors, and Dimple's like, oh, this is taking too long. Regan's sitting there fucking around on his phone. What? It's been like 2 minutes. Yeah, he should have been out of there in 30 seconds. Well, should I be worried? Yes. So what should we do? Well, I guess I'm going to have to go in there. Can you do that? I'm going to have to. Meanwhile, in the dreamscape, like there's a brief like little psychic battle between the evil spirit and Mob.
Yes, the spirit's name, by the way, is Mogami.
Thank you. Between Mogami and Mob.
And it looks like Mob wins pretty handily. And then Mogami reveals, yeah, no, I was just trying to figure out exactly how you operate. Yep, I can screw you over now.
Yeah.
And Mob's like,
this is kind of my bag, dude. So
you're in my dreamscape now.
I'm going to pull out all of your memories of your powers and stick you in this, like, dream world where it's pretty much just like the real world, except you don't have your powers and you don't have any of your friends. So have fun, asshole. You're going to be just like me when you come out. And yeah, it sucks. Mob gets picked on by bullies. One of the things that happens is the girl that Mogami's possessing turns out to be one of his
she's been added to his class.
She's been added to his class, and she becomes one of his primary tormentors because that's what she was beforehand. This is not a construct of Mogami. This is just her reacting to the dreamscape in the same way.
Yep.
And yeah, she's a right cunt.
Oh, she's terrible.
Yeah, she's a complete and utter piece of work kind of popular girl, you know.
Yeah. It's not that she's a particularly popular girl. She's doing it so that she's not picked on herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's found a target to pick on so that everyone else will focus on the person to pick on. It's what Bully 101.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a way to ingratiate herself with the popular people and to move herself up the food chain. Because she's new. And she's new and of that particular mindset. Yeah. As opposed to being a decent person and becoming liked by people by being a decent person, because that does work too. Astonishing.
Shocking.
I know.
So there comes a point where Mob's been in this dreamscape for like 6 months relative time. And she actually threatens to kill the stray cat he's been taking care of. And he's like, he gets angry and reacts, so she sicks her band of fuckboys on him.
Yep.
And he's getting his ass kicked, and that's when Dimple manages to break through. He goes, "Oh,
well, no,
fuck."
before Dimple is able to get there, Mogami actually removes Mob's limiters on his powers.
Right.
And Mob starts fighting back. And Mob's pissed, which is when Dimple shows up and goes, "Mob, what the fuck?" And Mob's like, "Wait, what?" Oh, God.
Oh, and he sees Dimple, and it takes him a minute, and a flower grows out of his head, and suddenly he remembers everything that he was forced to forget.
And Mob's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing this anymore, Mogami." And Mogami's like, "Okay, well,
Guess we're fighting.
And Mob's like, okay, we're fighting. Dimple, you probably want to leave now. Dimple's like, what do you mean? Oh, right, yeah. I'm out. Right, yeah, right.
Gorgeous fucking fight scene that. Like, Jesus Christ, the stuff they do.
Like it is. Gav's right in that it's not like the same sort of like, just mind-blowing, like, shock of colors and crazy, things flying. But oh my God, it's just this.
It's gorgeous, and like the various evil spirits are manifesting as these big red, bigly humanoid not monsters, shapes, and it's just gorgeous, and it's beautiful, and
it keeps getting better.
Shit, it just keeps getting better. Just keeps getting fucking better until eventually Mogami gets put down along with his host of devoured evil spirits, and Bob and the girl both wake up, and the girl's like, well, thanks for saving me. Were you really like that? Yeah, I'm a really terrible person. And she starts to walk away. Mom stops her and is like, you don't have to be a terrible person anymore. You know what it's like now. You just be better.
The thing is, and then she actually apologizes to Mob before that.
Yeah.
She's like, generally, it's like this. It's like the first.
Jesus Christ, the animation there too. Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's just this very, like, everything in the dreamscape is like crisp lines and like beautiful frame rate, and these like the cascade of shapes and explosions and everything just beautifully rendered. Once they're out, it becomes this very like loose and sketchy kind of feel.
Yeah.
And very expressive. And wow, I love it. It makes me happy.
And this girl has this truly human moment of realizing how much of a complete shit she's been.
Yeah, and she's just this moment of like existential anguish.
That she realizes
it's entirely on her face. Not a word. You see it etched into her face. Just, wow.
And the thing is, Mob accepts her apology, and that breaks her. Like she just realizes that he actually accepted he forgives me. What? And it reduces her to tears in this. And
the fucking thing is, like, she doesn't really deserve Mob's forgiveness.
No.
After all the shit she did. She really doesn't deserve it.
No.
But he gives it anyway. And that makes her better later on.
Yes.
She actually becomes a better person. And it's fucking awesome.
Yep. This is when Mogami reveals that he's not been destroyed yet.
And instead it gets soaked.
But then the spirit capture dude from Claw from the season,
who's hiding in the crowd the whole time.
Yeah, he just sort of sticks him into one of his little spirit trap things. Like, yep, yoink. You guys can.
I'm going.
That's to pay you back for last time, Mob. Saved you guys. Bye. And Mob's like, I
never come up again.
Nope, it will never come up again because they never forget shit like that.
That's not a Chekhov's gun.
That's not a Chekhov's broccoli, Eric.
Wow, the broccoli. Yeah.
Episode fucking one.
There is an entire season-long setup
for one of the
joke at the last.
For one of the best brick jokes I have ever seen.
Fucking minute, and it's fucking amazing.
just raw applause. Just oh my god, it's one of the best brick jokes I've ever seen in anime. It's great. It's the broccoli. I'm not going to spoil anything more.
Yeah.
But it's set up at the beginning of the season, and oh my god. So yeah, this moves us into sort of the building into the actual the final arc.
Yeah.
Basically, Mob decides that he's, going to, if he can, basically, next year is their last year of middle school, and they have to do tests in order to get into high school and such. If he's really gonna do what he wants to do, which is, prove that he's, prove to himself mostly that he deserves to confess to Tsubomi, the girl he likes. And in order to do that, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can place in the top 10 in the school marathon. I'll confess to Tsubomi. And like,
there is a great bit where he's like, yeah, so this year I'm going to run it, and obviously I know I'm not that good right now, so I'm just going to get like see where I place, and then I can improve, and then next year I'll get in the top 10. And they're like, Mob, we've got like high school exams next year. We're not going to have chance. He's like,
oh fuck, you're right.
fuck.
I've got to make the top 10 this year then. It's like, what if Tsubomi goes to a different school? Oh my god. So like Mob goes off to do training and stuff, and there's all those wonderful bits at the Body Improvement Club. Like they're all they as usual are all gung ho supporting him. The former chief hooligan of schools joined the Body Improvement Club, Onigawara, yes. Who's awesome. I love that dude. He ends up giving Mob a pair of running shoes. Once Mob's sort of proven that he actually knows what he's doing, like he's actually serious about this. Mm. And the head of the Body Improvement Club's got this wonderful. Goda's got this beautiful line about like, so you found something to take the shoes you bought. They were the wrong size. And Onigawara's like, shut up!
Shut up! I'm trying to be cool.
It's so good. I love Goda so much. Goda is the fucking best. At any rate, so Mob's brother Ritsu and I think it was Taruki actually. I think it's Riku and Taruki basically fill in for Mob with Regan. When there's a beautiful little bit where Tsubomi and one of her friends comes in for basic relationship advice. Her friend wants relationship advice. Right. And Regan's like, okay, sure. And he basically, she talks for a bit, and he gives her some what sounds like pretty generically good advice. And Tsubomi basically goes to this thing where she's got a guy she likes at the same cram school she goes to, and she wants to know if she should go forward with it. And she goes through things, and Regan's like, yeah, you totally should. And meanwhile, Ritsu's hiding. He's like, I can't let her know that Mob works here because
Regan has no idea who this girl is.
Right, none.
They are just some random middle schoolers that came in for advice.
Right. And, like, Ritsu's like, dude, oh my god, if she knows he works here, that'd be terrible for Mob. This place is because Regan's so shady. Meanwhile, Tsubomi's actually noticed the photo of Mob on the wall with Regan. She's like, Mob works here. So
I'll give Regan a litmus test, see what he does.
And Regan gives her good advice, and she's like, and so her friend's like, I didn't know you had a guy you liked. When did you start going to cram school? She's like, I wasn't. It was just a little thing. I wanted to be sure that he was giving you good advice, so I gave him a little test to make sure that his general advice was sort of generically good. And he seems trustworthy, so sure. But the implication there is sort of like, she's making sure the dude Mob works for is actually okay, because while she's not like, the perfect girl on a pedestal that Mob makes her out to be, because Ritsu remembers some things about her that are a little bit less than flattering.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She seems like she's a good but flawed person.
Like everyone else in the fucking show.
Yes! It's almost like one knows how to write actual fucking characters. That was a beautiful little moment of, there's a lot more to this girl than we thought. Both good and bad. That's kind of cool.
Yes.
At any rate, so Mob doesn't finish the marathon. He does a lot better than he had in the past. But he gets anemic and passes out because he's been training too hard, basically. But it's like the Body Improvement Club are like totally like, yeah, he did so well. We're so proud of him.
He did
there is a cool little moment though where like Regan tries to help him train.
Yes.
And it's the thing that like it's a small thing, but like Regan starts complaining a bit, long before Mob does.
Yep.
And he's like, are you sure we need to keep going? And Mob's like, no, we can keep going. And it's like, yeah, they're not going particularly fast, but it's obvious at that point that Mob has been improving.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like the work that he's putting in is working. No, he's not going to win a fucking marathon, but he's light years beyond where he was when we first.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing. It's like the bit where they go out when they're planning to go out for lunch. With the Body Improvement Club and the Telepathy Club. That's all spurred on by the Body Improvement Club cheering Mob on for getting to improving to 35 push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, that's so awesome! You've gotten so much better! Hooray!
Yeah. Now, in comparison to the Body Improvement Club,
why in another couple months you'll be an average middle schooler, and they don't say it mean at all. They're like, this is a massive improvement. We are so happy for you.
Like, in comparison, like stood alongside the rest of the Body Improvement Club, it looks like he looks like weak and the rest of it, but it's not. It's genuine improvement for him, and they're genuinely happy for him.
Because the Body Improvement Club are awesome.
They really are.
They are the fucking best.
Get yourself some drugs like the Body Improvement Club.
Seriously. But so Mob, basically his parents are very proud of him also. And Ritsu did really well in the marathon, unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
Because
He actually did finish top 10.
He did, because Ritsu's...
Yep.
Because basically everything Mob's not good at, Ritsu's actually good at.
Yes.
It's just that Mob is, at his heart, a nicer person and is a more powerful psychic.
Yes. Ritsu's no slouch when it comes to psychic power.
No.
He is a tiny, tiny man compared to Mob.
Yes, and he knows it. And the thing is, he's come to appreciate that. And
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And the thing is, he totally loves the thing. He totally is. He's come to both accept and respect the fact that Mob does not consider that makes him better than people, because Regan's watched what Mob does. He's like, oh my god. Like, I used to think that being a psychic would make everything better, but like seeing Mob, like how Mob is being fulfilled and happier about like making friends and improving at his running and athleticism and such, and that sense of fulfillment he's getting from becoming better. That's what I was missing. Jesus Christ. It's I love their relationship as it develops over the course of the show. It's great. So yeah, and Mob's sort of coming home from the first aid station, and he's taking his time because he's tired.
Tired. He's kind of exhausted, and also, you know what? He recognizes that while he might not have finished, he did a massive improvement over what he could do. He might not have reached his goal, but he still did well. And he's actively kind of proud of that.
Yep. And so his mom's making special dinner, etc. And there's a ring at the door. It's back at the home. Ritsu's there, and his Mom's parents are. His mom's not back yet. And the doorbell rings. You're like, okay, it's Mob. The door opens, and it's Sho, the son of Claw's leader, that we met at the end of last season.
The guy that showed up at the end of last season, and everyone.
The redheaded kid with incredible psychic.
Shit themselves.
Yeah, he's at the door, and Ritsu's like, "The fuck are you doing here?" And his mom comes in, and it's very clearly something's not right. Something's bad here. And then you see Mob coming up, and you see Mob and Dimple sort of look out of the horizon and see smoke. And the next thing is Mob outside his house, which is on fire.
Yeah.
And everyone's outside. Oh my God! Did they make it out? What's there? And they see Mob. They're like, "Oh God! Thank God! At least Mob wasn't in there." And Mob's like,
"There are people inside." And he walks inside.
And they're like, wait, don't go inside then. Mob's business, Mob, whatever. But they don't know that.
Yeah.
And Mob's going to sort of rationalize, okay, Dad's really responsible and all, so he probably got them out.
Ritsu is there, so he'll be able to help out if Mom has trouble. And yeah, everything will be fine. Everything's okay.
I wonder how this started. It can't have been because of the fryer, because Mom's really careful with that. Maybe it's an electrical short or something like that. I don't know. And then Dimple says, Mob, there are signs of forced entry at the front door. And Mob's like, oh, fuck. And he runs upstairs looking around and opens the door to a room. And you see this room engulfed in fire and what look like 3 charred bodies.
Yeah.
And you see Mob just freaking the fuck out. And the meter goes up, hits, hits max, goes beyond max, and that's where the episode ends. Now, it turns out they're not actually dead.
Yeah. Dimple, to his credit, is immediately like, no, it's clearly some sort of psychic thing. Someone created doubles. It's not them. You're okay. Come on, man. We just need to find them, make sure they're okay. And talks Mob down. Mob's like, you're right. It's okay. let's go find them.
I mean, the thing is, it also hints at just how powerful Mob is when he's that pissed off, because literally, like, every other Psyker has a thing.
Yeah.
Like, they can do this, they can whatever else.
Most Psykers can only do one thing notable, usually.
Yeah.
Mob literally does whatever the fuck he needs to do whenever he needs to do it.
The really badass Psykers have multiple things they can do. Yeah. Taruki can do that also. He's got a bunch of different tricks he can do.
Yep.
But, like, literally, like... And he admits later on, does Dimple, that he's bullshitting about the...
He was telling Mob that to calm Mob down so that Mob did not explode, basically.
Yeah, because he says that to Regan when they hook up the Regan.
Yeah, Regan's like, is that an actual power? He says, fuck if I know, but I had to say something.
Otherwise, it's gonna blow up the whole fucking neighborhood.
But he literally says to Mob, look, you know, it's fine. They're not dead. And you just see Mob close his eyes for a second. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I can sense them. And they're like, he's like, you can do that? And he turns and starts to leave. And it's like, okay. So now they need to. They basically did this whole thing where Mob is like, no, I need to find out where the fuck they are. Who's got them? Right.
So he tracks out. He runs into a couple of Psykers who are on their way to. It turns out are on their way to Mob's place to take him out. And he's like, okay, where are my parents and my family? And they're like, oh, you're the kid we're coming to take out. Okay, because they're Claw, is the implication. Right. And Mob is having none of this.
Yeah.
It's like one dude's like, I'm a muscle type, but I reinforce.
The first dude basically shows off he's got electrokinesis powers, and Mob's like, yeah, that's cute, kid.
Yeah,
that's adorable.
So show me your body double power, and the dude's like, what are you talking about? No, you don't have it. Okay, fling gone. What's your body double power? I've got psychic, physical augmentation. And Mob's like, that's nice, kid.
There's one dude who literally powers himself up and covers his body in a barrier, an unbreakable barrier that you will never. Mob with one punch just smash through his through his face. He's like, oh.
Mob is having none of this.
Mob is very upset.
Mob is very upset. So, two of the dudes from the dude with the cursing items ability and the guy that Mob fought with the sort of coil telekinesis powers show up in their car, and they're like, Mob, get in. This is bigger than you think it is. Mob's like, okay. And they start driving off, and Mob's like, okay, so where we're going to my parents? And they're like, no. And he's like, Mob's like, stops the car, and they're like, no, dude, we're going to Regan because Claw's in town, and they're attacking everybody. Mob's like, Regan, right? We're going there now, and flies the car off. They're like, the fuck?
Okay, Mob, take the wheel.
Which is where they link up with Regan, and so we find out that what's going on is that the Claw's boss has shown up with the full force of Claw to take over the world. He is beginning his plan of actual world conquest now.
Starting with this city.
And his plan is he's going to destroy the city, Seasoning City, because it's his hometown, and he wants to show off Claw's power. And by making a demonstration of doing that, that will make things taking over much easier. It's Supervillain 101, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say this, the head of Claw, whose name is Suzuki, it's something other Suzuki.
I had it here a moment ago.
Torichiro Suzuki, yes. Torichiro, he's not a subtle man.
No.
I mean, he's more subtle than most of the bad guy psychers in this show, in that he has an actual plan.
Mm.
And he's not out on the front lines all the time because he doesn't feel he needs to. And it turns out, oh boy, he doesn't need to be, for reasons. And so basically we have, it becomes it looks out on the surface like it's a fairly bog standard at this point, shown an action show where people's psychic powers are fighting each other. It's more than that.
Because it's Mob Psycho.
Because one wrote this, and there is a lot that's being said in all of this. Like, oh my god, For starters, on the surface, the action scenes from this point forward are fucking incredible.
Yes.
Yep.
They are beautiful. Like, the direction behind them is amazing. The animation is movie quality or better.
The choreography is spot on.
Yes.
You know what's happening. Like, people are moving in weird directions from weird angles, and you're able to follow the action. And, like, one action leads to another, and it makes goddamn sense.
Yeah, considering there's all kinds of kaleidoscopic shit going on, you don't get lost in the action.
Yeah.
And that's entirely deliberate and entirely pulled off perfectly.
Whoever storyboarded and did the choreography for the fight,
their fight director.
Their fight director for the is a genius. He needs to do everything because oh my god.
Put it this way, we get introduced to like a bunch of like the claw, like
the Ultimate Five.
Yeah, the Fatal Five or some bullshit. I don't know. Basically, the top end like elites of their organization, and each of them have varying levels of power. And one of them is a teleport type.
Yeah, he's blind, but he can read people's actions, so he can react to them without actually being able to see them.
He's basically got sensory powers and teleportation.
Yeah.
How they chose to do his power set and how they animate his teleportation is amazing.
It's beautiful.
You never actually see him. Well, you maybe do once or twice, but you never really actually see him leave the frame.
It's usually like it's usually if it's him and the point of view character for that scene are involved, and he's like if he's moving with the point of view character, the background changes. Absolutely.
It's a really well done.
And camera teleports with him.
It's so and it feels like it does. Which takes it means that they didn't just change the scene. There's more going on in the back with the backgrounds than it looks like at first.
Because
there's a moment when Mob first gets involved in the fight with him, where he grabs the back of Mob's head and slams his face into the car door, and then you think for a minute, wait a minute, weren't they just in an office building? No, he teleported out to the street.
That wasn't Mob.
It
was Ritu.
Ritu, right.
But yeah, there's a bit where he teleports, hits him with pulls back, hits him into a wall, pulls back, hits him into a floor, and you're realizing the whole thing's changing around him. And then later when he's fighting the entirety of the hero gang, it's not just the background that's changing; it's also the perspective.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the same from one jump to another. You're seeing the same area, the same battlefield from a different position.
And it flows. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's really well done.
But like I say, they increase the level of disorientation of this guy's ability because, like I said, you never see him leave the frame.
Yeah.
Not just because the camera teleports with him, but a lot of his teleportation is off camera. So he'll swing at somebody, or somebody will swing at him, and you'll see them duck. You'll see him duck out of the way, and then when they turn around to come back, he's gone.
Yeah,
or something will drop on him from a height, and as it slams down, he'll have teleported in that instant and then appear somewhere else. And never see him disappear or reappear.
It's really well done.
One of my favorite moments in these action moments in the series is a bit where he's starting to lose against the hero team, so he's like, okay, I'm just gonna shut out all sensory perception except for espers because there are only espers here, and he starts eating them alive until Bob shows up. He's okay, that's a really scary esper, so I know what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna fight him. And then you just hear banishment punch combo, and Regan slugs him from the side and just kicks his ass.
It's so good because he looks at Regan. He's like, I can't really psychic power off of him, but he slugged me. But oh my god, is there someone a powerful psychic who can actually hide their abilities completely? Oh my god! And it's like, dude, no.
And just a dude.
Oh my god! But so before we get to the rest of that encounter, because it's really important. That encounter is really fucking important.
Yeah.
So the first thing that happens is when Mob finds out from Regan that Regan tells him that your family's safe, they're fine. I'm convinced that Rob's like, okay, great. I'm really tired now. Clunk.
Yeah.
And he just falls asleep because he has burned so much juju.
Yeah, he
needs a nap.
Exhausted.
And so basically, like, you know, Regan's basically, yeah, we really shouldn't get involved in this fight. Like, let the government deal with this. It's what the government's for. They have powerful psychers on their side.
This is way outside our pay grade, guys.
And then but everyone's like, well, we're gonna go fight anyways. And Regan's like, fine, whatever. And then he gets a call from his insurance company because his office burned down, and he's convinced that it was a psycher. And they're like, yeah, it's like, well, we got no proof. It's like, you know, we've got no proof that it's a psycher. He's like, but what? Like, what's the point of having insurance if you're not going to actually pay when they actually need it? Okay, fine. We will take these assholes down because I need to drag them in to prove that they set fire to my goddamn office. So I'm going to give you guys the strategies to beat these guys.
Oh, dear.
And to be fair, Regan's plans are actually really good. And Regan's plans would probably have worked if it hadn't been fact they're actually pretty badly outclassed in terms of raw power.
Yeah.
It turns out. So the other thing we find out is that the redheaded kid, you know, Claw's the heir apparent to Claw. Show has, you know, he actually has made body doubles for Mob's parents. He did that partially to basically motivate Mob to as a tool for motivating Mob to get Mob to actually go after Claw if he fails in his attempt to stop his dad from being an evil bastard, basically.
Yeah.
Now, he wants to go in and do it himself first and hopes that, you know, by doing this, Mob will be distracted and not go after his dad directly. But, you know, he basically, you know, he and Ritsu are basically teaming up along with a couple of Show's other friends to take out his dad. Because...
Yeah. So, it literally turns out that, you know, he didn't kidnap Ritsu or anything like that. It was the case of, he showed up, says, I'd really like your help. Here's 2 tickets for your parents to go to a spa. And now I'm going to burn your house down because I need to motivate your brother.
Well, he doesn't tell Ritsu that he did that.
He doesn't do the last bit, but yeah, he does basically say, I need your help. The city's about to turn to shit. Here's some tickets for your parents to go.
And Ritsu, I think, if I remember correctly, Ritsu does find out, because he finds that the house burned down, and he's like, oh god, if Mob ever figures out that Show did that to do that, dude, do you really want to push Mob's buttons like that, or are you absolutely sure?
This is not a wise decision.
It'll be fine. I'm the most powerful psyker in the world, anyways. That's nice, Show.
It's nice that you think that.
And I will say this: Show does in fact get shown up that he is not the most powerful psyker in the world. But yeah,
he's not someone to fuck with, but he's out of his depth.
Oh no, he's really, really, really powerful. He's more powerful than Ritsu. I'm not convinced he's more powerful than Terumi. He's more flexible than Terumi. That's definitive. But
yeah,
and that's usually an indication of someone being more powerful in this world. But it's possible that Terumi just hasn't figured out more of his... Terumi is awesome as an aside. Dear God, I love him in this season. Because he still has that sort of unwavering self-confidence of, yeah, I'm the protagonist of my own story. He's no longer the protagonist of the story.
He's the protagonist of his own story.
Mm-hmm. That's intersecting with Mob's story, and yeah, okay, Mob's actually the protagonist of the story overall. I get that. That's fine. But I'm confident I know I'm awesome. But he's willing to admit when people are actually better than him now. Because he sees it a couple times, and he's like, okay, yeah, that guy's better than I am. Fuck. Okay, but when he runs into the teleporter dude, he's like, fights him for a while, and then gets schooled completely, and he's like, oh, okay. I was not expecting someone who could teleport like that to also be able to predict people's movements like that. Okay. That dude's really, really powerful. I hope that there aren't that many people at that level with Claw. Oh, fuck. There are 5 of them, aren't there? Because, yeah, the ultimate 5 of Claw are, there's the one dude who can basically use his Esper powers to take over communication stuff. and like radio signals and stuff. And the leader of the Claw's like, yeah, we have no idea how he does this. We just know he can do it.
It's technomancy, yeah.
It makes no it fits in a no known theory of psychic powers, but he can do it.
Sure.
Yeah, he can take over TV broadcasts, blah blah blah. There's one bit where the government tries to investigate and like sends a helicopter to the tower, and he just starts controlling it like a freaking RC helicopter. It's oh god.
Yep. There's the dude who can control plants. Mm-hmm. There's the dude who's got the super physical augmentation where he basically has psychic steroids that he gives himself.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. There's the teleporter dude, and then there's Serizawa.
Yeah, with the umbrella.
Who's this meat guy with a bad hair and a mustache and stubble, wearing a bathrobe and with an umbrella, who's constantly very shy and seems oddly familiar in a couple of ways.
Played by Weird Al Yankovic.
Kinda, yeah.
Actually, if I were going to cast live action, and why would you do that? It would be Weird Al.
Yeah, no one would ever think about making Mob Psycho into a live action show, Eric. That'd be stupid.
It's gonna happen, isn't it?
It happened already, Matt.
It already has.
It has?
Oh yeah, it's on Netflix.
Nobody liked it.
It's awful. Gav, do you remember that awesome scene in season 1? The whole joke with the Body Improvement Club where Mob ends up joining them?
Uh-huh.
It's like one of the best jokes in the entire show. They fucked that joke up. That's all you need to know about the live action show. Yeah, also, there's only one person in the telepathy club. Because the telepathy club jokes work better if you only have the leader of the club. I hate the live action show.
It was terrible. I heard it existed. I was like, why would you do that? This is everything about the show is a love letter to the art of animation. Why would you make it live action? Oh, so you can ruin it. I don't need to watch this.
Was it Western or Eastern produced?
It's from Japan.
I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
It's a Japanese production.
Yeah, I can understand that. They do that to pretty much everything.
Oh yeah, they do. It's not. I'm not honestly surprised it happened, but it's a why would you? But at any rate, back to the good show we're talking about. Yeah. So Serizawa is. So here's the thing: a large number of people in the Claw Elite 5 and the head of Claw. Gav pointed this out, and this is something I noticed also in Eric. We all noticed this because it's blindingly obvious, but it's really cool. Is virtually everybody is some reflection of something that and something that a lesson or an aspect of either a lesson Mob has learned and they clearly haven't, or is sort of an aspect of Mob's backstory or personality that have gone in a different direction. Serizawa is literally, what if Mob had never met Regan? What if Mob, instead of meeting Regan, had met an evil bastard?
Yeah.
And also, what if Mob had not met said person until he was an adult? Because Serizawa was a hikikomori, because he locked himself up and basically shut himself off from society because he couldn't control his powers and kept hurting people. Which is what Mob was scared he's going to do when he went to meet Regan for the first time.
Yep.
And oh my god, you feel Serizawa is the most sympathetic person in the entirety of Claw.
Yeah, and Serizawa is also clearly like a huge agoraphobe. Like, he needs the umbrella so he doesn't have to look at the sky. He can pretend he's inside.
Well, he's shut himself
locked up in his room.
He shut himself up in his room for 15 years.
Yeah.
As an aside, we meet him when he was the head of Claw. Met him when he was 27.
Yep.
You can do the math. Mob's about 12. Yeah. At any rate, so yeah, so basically we've got these several things going on. We've got Regan's gang of the Psychers who are sided with Regan, who are trying to take out Claw, and they've got this multi-prong attack thing going, and it's actually really cool. And unfortunately, most of them run into. So, at which the other thing is, Sho and Ritsu and his friends go in. Sho's friends take on the plant control guy to basically let Sho and Ritsu go forward. And they do well against the plant control guy for a little while. Then he kind of wrecks them.
It basically goes, It's a really balanced group you got there. You really support one another. Guess I actually have to pay attention.
I have to try. So they get to Ritsu and Sho get to the building where Sho's dad is, and they're like, and the teleport dude's out front, and like he's like, yep, oh, you really are you are really the rebellious phase, aren't you, Sho? And Sho's like, oh, god damn it. And Ritsu's like, okay, Sho, you're the one who can handle your dad. You're more powerful than I am. I will tie up this guy. And Sho's like, dude, you can't take him. And Ritsu's like, that's not what I said. I said I will tie him up so you can go talk to your dad and stop him. Those are two different things. I'm not saying I can beat him. And the teleporter's like, okay, yeah, sure, you have fun, Sho. And I think part of that is, I think the teleporter guy is fairly certain that he's like, I probably can't take Sho. Not entirely sure. But this other kid seems to be interested in trying to fight me. That sounds like fun. And so they fight for a while, and he's... Honestly, it's kind of neat, because the teleporter guy's like actually impressed by Ritsu's sort of tactical thinking and ability and actual power, and basically, dude, you clearly have some anger issues. You should clearly work for us in Claw. Come join us. You'd be great. And Ritsu's like, yeah, no. I really don't think so.
I don't think I'd be a good fit.
Because this is where he sort of has a whole little speech about like how he's actually grown to admire Mob, and like his actual desire, how his fulfillment from improving is actually what Ritsu realized he really wanted. And the teleporter's like, yeah, I guess you're right, you probably wouldn't be a good fit. That's too bad. All right, time to kick your ass. And as he's about to do this, he gets clocked in the head with a manhole cover. Because the group that he'd run into in the basement of the former Scars and Claw and Terumi have shown up to take him on again, because Terumi wasn't with them initially. He was back at basically virtually everybody who was either in Claw or was one of the Scars who rebelling as Claw, Terumi or the other psychics that were helping out, are all there to basically take on the teleporter dude. And oh my god, the fight between the group of psychers versus the teleporter is fucking epic.
Yeah.
No, it's gorgeous. It's amazing.
And eventually it does lead to Terumi figuring out how to beat him.
Yeah, he starts basically predicting where he's going to pop in. Well, the most logical way to... And
he's like, if you're just reading my moves, that makes you predictable. And the teleporter's like, fuck. Fine. Then that's where he does the whole blocks everything out except for Esper's thing. He's like, I'm just going to basically... I'm narrowing my focus even further. There's no way you guys can surprise me now. And that's when Mob shows up to the scene. But before that...
Yeah, the reason Mob showed up that late...
is he wakes up. Well, first off, basically the psychosteroid dude...
The steroid guy, like, goes to
and a bunch of claws, sort of mook psychers, show up at the place where Regan's coordinating from.
And Regan's just there with Mob alone, basically, just looking after Mob, because he's basically catatonic, he's out. Yeah. So basically, when they realize, he and the guy who ran the sort of psychic development center in the first season, basically, like, they're hiding. That dude hears the people coming, so Regan's like, damn, they figured out where we are? Well, what do we do? And the guy's like, well, we can hide. So they hide. And the Claw agents find Regan hiding in the unplugged refrigerator, and Regan's like, okay, you got me. I'm not a psyker. I'm just a guy. I don't want any trouble. And they're like, okay, search him. Let's make sure he's not... there's something weird about this guy. He seems off. Let's search to make sure he's not carrying anything dangerous. And he's like, okay. And they're like, what the hell is this spray thing? He's like, oh, this is just a clone. Nice scent. Would you like to smell it? Spray. It's the curse knockout gas from the previous season that he confiscated from the curse guy.
Yep.
Knocks them out. And Dimple's like, dude, you are the luckiest son of a bitch I know. Which was, psychic steroids who shows up, and
it's a great bit. He's like Regan's literally just gone, like, oh yeah, it's just this here spray knockout. Yeah. And this Psycho Muscle dude's like, oh, that's a very clever trick. but you're not going to be able to handle me because I'm just... These were underlings, these were minions. I'm an actual part of the Ultimate 5 spray. Thud. Huh.
Well, we should probably get Mob out of here now that we've been found out.
Unfortunately, the dude wakes back up very quickly. Now, to be fair, he starts going after Regan. Regan basically distracts him, makes him look at, pause for a second, and sprays him again and knocks him out again. So basically, eventually, it looks like the dude's going to basically pummel Mob, so Dimple possesses him and runs him away. Yeah. And Dimple's like, God, I hope Mob's not going to be pissed off with me about possessing him, but we really don't have an option if I want to get him not dead.
Well, he just try and fight him for a moment, but it's like...
Yeah, he basically fights a little bit. It's like, yeah, I can't hurt him. I'm out. Bye. Whoosh.
The only reason Mob doesn't have a broken leg right now is because his shoe fell off or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So he runs away, and the guy chases after him, and basically eventually grabs him and flings him flying off in the distance. Now, before this, we see the Body Improvement Club out for a jog. And they get rerouted from the bridge they're supposed to be going over because it's closed due to repairs and stuff. Because, actually, no, not due to repairs, but because of Claw's invasion.
Psycho rebellion going on the other side.
Right. So, like, oh, well, okay, fine, we'll take a scenic view this time. Fight on, fight on, fight on. So, of course, Mob falls into an alleyway, and who's the alleyway but the Body Improvement Club? And they're like, why the hell is Mob flying through the air like this?
Why are you asleep in an alleyway?
Well, he falls on top of them, and they catch him.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the hell? And then the psycho dude, the dude, the steroid dude shows up, and they're like, oh, hi. What can we do for you? I'm here to crush this guy. And they're like, no.
That's our buddy Mob. You're not allowed to crush him.
And he basically, they don't say they're going to fight him. They're just going to say, we're not going to let you do that. He backhands the Godo into the wall, and they're like, oh, you hit the president. No. So, the former hooligan dude basically goes into his, aha, demon rush punches, ow, my fists. Smack, ow. And they get their butts kicked. And he goes to basically step and crush Mob when Godo gets back up and dives himself between Mob and the guy stepping on him. And proceeds to hold the dude who's using psychic powers to augment his muscles off, hold him his foot up by sheer force of will and, peak muscle power.
Fight on!
To the point where, like, the concrete below them is cracking.
Yeah.
At which point, Dimple possesses him. And Dimple's like, okay, time to see what happens with someone who actually has actual physical strength on their side. Removing the limiters. So yeah, I'm just going to remove all your sort of mental limits on to avoid hurting yourself, because we're going to need that. And proceeds to school the other dude's ass. Yeah. It's glorious.
Bodies him. And he's like giving him lip the entire time. He's like, yeah, psychic steroids are all well and good. You know what's better? Actual developed muscles.
There's a wonderful line Dimple actually has, like, Mob was actually right about that whole exercise thing, it turns out. Who knew? Yeah, if you psychically augment someone who has actual muscles, it's even better. And so he punches, so they knock the dude out, and they're all sort of celebrating. The president's like, and they sort of toss the president there, and they're like, yeah, okay, and they're like, yeah, the president's like, oh God, I am so tired, my arms can't move.
Yeah, it's like, and then they're all celebrating all the rest of it, and then the dude starts to get back up.
Yeah, because he does this.
Like, President, can you do that? And he's like, well, I can't really move my arms at the moment, it seems.
At which point, Mob is now awake and smacks the dude down telekinetically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just squit. No.
No.
And Mob realizes that Claw has actually hurt his friends.
Yeah. But I mean, again, just before it points out that whole thing that we've been saying. Again, the dark mirror sort of situation where Mob and Dimple said it to him. Why don't you just use your psychic powers and generate your muscles? This is why.
Yeah.
Because it's a shortcut. That is not what Mob's about.
Yep.
This dude took all the shortcuts to getting power through psychic powers.
The dark side is not stronger; it is merely faster.
Yeah.
It's the best. It is honestly the best demonstration of the difference between the dark side of the Force and the light side of the Force, the way it was explained in A New Hope and in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Not more powerful, but faster.
It is the best explanation for the Force I have seen.
Yeah.
God damn it! Why is Mob Psycho better at the Force than Star Wars?
Because
one is a really, really good writer is why. All right, so, yeah. So Mob keeps running into people. He runs into the plant guy as some of the claw thugs are robbing a store, and Mob's like, what are you guys doing? We're taking this stuff because we're psychics. Do you know how to make any of this stuff? Do you know how to fix the door you broke? Do you know it's... You're not better than the normal people just because you have psychic powers. You just can do something they can't do. They can do stuff you can't do. Apologize. Stop. Just okay. You're gonna fight. No. Smack.
All right.
At which point the plant dude shows up and fight ensues, and it's going mostly okay. Bob probably could have pulled it out, but fortunately, the evil spirit controlling dude shows up with some of his evil spirits, and it looks like they aren't doing great against the plant dude. And the plant dude it makes him drop his little things, and one of these little the hell jars, I think is what they're called.
He opens up all the hell jars and
not all of them.
No, he saves one.
The one he doesn't want to open. And the claw thugs pick it up, and they're like, haha, we'll just smash this and destroy the thing. It's like, dude, no, don't do that one. Not that one.
Yeah, anything but that one.
And they do.
I can't control that one. It's too strong.
That one's Mogami. And Mogami completely schools the plant dude. And then basically starts to lecture Mob about basically starts talking at Mob, and Mob's like... And Mob he basically tells Mob, look, dude, if you're going to go on the path you're talking but you wanted to do, and I'm interested to see where this will lead, because maybe you'll prove that my whole theory was wrong, but you can't let people walk all over you. You have to be hard on people sometimes. And Mob's like, huh. You're probably right about it. You can see Mob start thinking, he's probably right about that. And so he moves on. And this is where he shows up in front of the teleporting dude. And the scene that follows is amazing because, like, they start asking about, like, him about, like, because he basically realizes, basically he's like, okay, Regan's punched me, I'm hurt, and looks back at Mob again. He's like, I can't take, like, he's seeing auras now completely. He's like, no, that's a no.
Yeah, it's like literally because he's like tuning himself to only see psychers. It's like everyone else is lit up. Mob's an inferno.
Yeah,
and he's like,
he's like, that's another level. And
right, I surrender. I'm done. I'm not even into this whole like world domination thing. I'm just here to have fun. I thought it'd be cool. You hurt all these people for fun?
Man, Mob looks at like literally. Mob's like, wait, you hurt all these people just to have fun? And the guy's like, oh, I just stepped in it, didn't I?
Yeah. I pushed the wrong button.
Fortunately, I'm a teleporter. Poof.
Yeah. Now I'm not entirely certain that Mob couldn't have just pulled him back.
It's possible, but
it's possible. But Mob had bigger fish to fry.
And so this is where we get the the big thing where basically Mob's like everyone's like okay, great, yeah, we're beat up, but we can go in and help you, Mob, take on the boss of Claw. And Mob's like, yeah, I'm going in alone. And they're like,
I'm sorry, you'll get in the way.
He actually says, you guys, I'm sorry guys, you're hurt, you're beat up, and frankly, you'll just get in my way. And they're like, oh.
The best thing about this is you get Mob's internal like thoughts and monologue and going back to what Mogami's just told him. By him telling you have to be hard on people sometimes, Mob has basically turned that into, I've got to hurt my friends' feelings to save their lives.
Yeah.
Because that's Mob.
Also, he's telling them the truth. Literally, it's like, this is this. I'm sorry, guys, this is out of your league. It's Mob realizing exactly how much more stronger he is than his friends. And it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. No. And Regan's like, okay, yep, that's cool. Dimple, keep an eye on Mob, would you? And Dimple's like, yeah, I was planning on it. And so Mob runs into Serizawa. Mob tries to talk Serizawa down.
Serizawa is very loyal to his boss.
And Mob's like, dude, he's using you. And Dimple's sitting there thinking, this is kind of rich coming from Mob and his relationship with Regan. But it's a very different... there are differences, which is the important thing.
Yes.
The big thing is that Mob actually gets stuff out of his relationship with Regan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. Mob actually hits 100 when he's fighting Serizawa. Serizawa, just is completely manic at this point, because I think deep down he knew.
Oh, no, he does. Mob points that out to him.
Yeah. He knows Suzuki's taking advantage of him, but he's so desperate for... He's fooling himself that, and
totally.
he's now
absolutely
trying to hold on. He's trying to hold on to that self-lie. And he's like manic and frantic and just screaming.
Because without the boss, what has he got? He's got nothing. Just he could go back to his room. That's it. And the thing that finally breaks through is Mob offers to be his friend. Because Mob is like, I know what actual friends are. What you have with your boss is not friendship. I can give that to you, Serizawa. I will. Because you're a good person at heart. It's amazing. Also, dear God, Serizawa was terrifying.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. He unleashes and he's hitting Mob with everything he's got, and Mob hits 100, and you just see all the energy start to pull into Mob.
Yeah.
And Serizawa's like, wait, are you absorbing all my energy? And Mob's like, no, you can have it. And it looks like he's fired back that was like a badass line. He's fired back a blast. But what hits Serizawa is Mob's memories.
Mm. Yep.
And a glimpse into his life and saying, look, I know who you are. I'm you.
I've been there.
But for this.
I got lucky.
Yeah, and it's that moment of realization. And Serizawa's like, oh, shit.
So, meanwhile, all this is going on. Sho is confronting his dad. Now, remember when I said Sho gets shown up? Yeah. Yeah. Sho's dad is literally the only person who can challenge Mob in raw power.
Yeah. Well, he reveals that, all of those minions, apart from the big five, all of those minions that are running around using power are using his power.
Yeah, because it turns out one of the things that he can do is collect and transfer power from other people. Mm. So he can collect, and he can basically just store up power over time, so he can build sort of like a battery of his of psychic energy to draw on later.
Yeah.
Sho can do this too.
Yeah, it's not in it. So just want to preface, because I got kind of mixed up with it. It's not in a I can steal your power and make you are no longer a psyker kind of thing. He
can absorb energy from someone else, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he can loan people power when he needs to.
Yeah, which he's done for hundreds of soldiers all at once.
Yep. And Mob shows up and basically is tries to talk him down, and sees Sho's because Sho's dad basically, because he's fights Sho for a while because Sho's rebellious and he needs to talk him down. Sho hits him with an attack. He's like, I've been saving this up for 3 months? Yep.
3 months worth of energy, and I'm gonna be. And he's like, oh, that was cute. It was a big blast, but it was took it no problem. He's like, yeah, that's cute. Just to let you know, I've been saving up energy for 20 years.
And Sho's like, oh, I'm screwed, aren't I? So yeah, he gets kicked around. So he's beat. Sho's hurt, and Mob basically shows up and heals him, gives him some psychic energy so he can get up and leave. And Show's dad's like, wait, you could do that too? And as an aside, that was established in season 1.
Yeah.
That Mob could do that. When he gave Regan his power.
When he shows up, he's like he's trying to talk him down. He doesn't actually.
Mob doesn't want to fight him.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. He comes in talking. He's like just trying to have a conversation with him. And Suzuki is just like really dismissive of him. He's like, yeah, whatever, another minor little psyker and all the rest of it. Your powers are worthless. You can't do anything interesting. And
one of the big things that Suzuki constantly talks about is like, I am not influenced by anyone else. I have no ties to anyone else. I am an island. I am a man unto himself. Yeah, I can do whatever I want. I have no outside influences.
And he's monologuing until he sees Mob giving Show power, because Show was like, I can't. To be honest, dude, I'm so drained. I couldn't even run if I wanted to. I'm completely drained. And he's like, oh, here you go. Is that enough? And he's like, wait, what?
Yeah, because that's a big part of his Suzuki's like self-worth is like, I'm the only one that can do this, that can lend my power out to my minions. Ha ha ha.
And Mob does it. He's like, wait, what? Oh, you're actually a threat then.
Yeah. This is great, like little like over the top dramatic action moment where it's like he's all stretched out and just diving. He's like, I have acknowledged you as an enemy. It's like, oh, okay, dude.
Oh my god. So yeah, Dimple gets blatted at some point, and that's right, yeah. Dimple sort of tries to get involved, and Suzuki basically
gets backhanded.
I think literally punts him out the window, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And he falls down to Regan, and basically he's like, Regan, Mob's getting his ass kicked. And Regan's like, fuck, I shouldn't have let him go in. What the fuck was I thinking?
It's also been pointed out that apparently Suzuki's only fighting at some like 10%. That's all he ever fights at. He doesn't need to go above that.
Yeah,
So Mob starts pushing him.
But he does not need to go higher for a bit.
Yeah.
Regan comes up and basically starts talking at him, and basically, yeah, no, I don't have powers, but I'm not an idiot.
Also, I have a gun.
And he basically proceeds to start lecturing and tries to get him to do the whole, I've talked my way up close to you, and now I will punch you. Bah! This is a secret weakness of all psychers, and that didn't work. Crap.
It is a great bit where he first shows up with the gun, and Suzuki just looks at him and says, you know that won't work, right? And he's like, I know, but... Bang! Here's the barrier. Worth a go. He just takes a shot anyway for the laugh.
Yeah. But so, yeah, basically, it like Suzuki's about to end Regan when Mob basically is like, yeah, no. And stands between them and is like, yeah, no. And the fight is on.
But the thing is, Mob hits 100 again.
Yep.
And the thing with Mob, we haven't really mentioned it this time, but this is what happened in the first season. Typically, whatever takes, whatever like manifestation that Mob has is essentially the prevailing emotion, the reason why he's hit that top end.
Right.
Yeah.
It was rage this time.
It was rage last time, I think.
No, this time was rage. He specifically says, "Take all my rage," during this fight.
Right, fair enough then, yeah. So I thought Rage was the early one. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this is like, I think this is the first time and only time we've ever seen Rage be the overriding emotion. Like earlier when it was that's right. But it was his family, it was
obsession.
Yeah. And finding out where they are. This one, yeah, this is pure rage.
And it doesn't go well. He's fighting sort of okay, and he's doing well because wow. But like and Suzuki's calling him out like, "You're enjoying this. Isn't it great to fight to go with unfettered all the stuff?" And like,
he is enjoying it. He is laughing during the fight.
And he lands close up to Ritsu to see Ritsu, looks over, and Mob's like, "Fuck. I let the powers control me, not me control the powers." Okay. I'm recentered. Right. And he keeps pushing Suzuki, who keeps escalating his power up, 10% increments. And eventually, it looks like he's overwhelming Mob, and he's like, "No, you don't get to fall unconscious. Wake up. I'm not going to let you. Don't take the easy way out." And Mob's like, "I'm not strong enough." And he's like, "Yeah, fuck you.
I'm not strong enough. I can't save you. I can only beat you."
Yeah, he literally is like, I'm not strong enough. I'm too weak. I can't do this the way I want to do it. I have to.
Yeah.
I can't save you. He doesn't say I have to beat you. He just says I can't save you, and then starts completely obliterating Suzuki.
Yes.
That's seriously the most badass line in the entire.
It is also heartbreaking.
Yeah. It is.
Looking
really
at the
is.
expression on Mob's face, you're just like, oh, Mob is crushed by this.
Mm-hmm. But it's like these two have said. It's literally you think the fight's over. He's saying he's falling unconscious. He's being beaten. He's like, I can't. I'm not strong enough. Bang, bang. I can't save you, because at this moment, as he's gone to punch him again, Suzuki's entire arm has just fucking twisted into a pretzel.
Oh my god, it's brutal.
And he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Mob looks up. Yeah, I can't save you. The rest of his body starts to twist up and pretzel.
It just starts like.
It goes full fucking Akira.
His body.
Yeah. Mob's just like, "Yep, okay, I'm gonna be hard on you because I can't do it the right way."
Is what Mogami meant.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is Mob realizing this is what Mogami meant.
Oh.
And the sound design, the wet snapping and popping as they twist. Oh,
yeah.
it's great.
And uncomfortable, but it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It's exactly what it needs to be to sell it.
And it's just, like I say, the further you think about that one scene, it's like, yeah, it's not Mob giving up, it's Mob giving up on trying to come out of this the way he wants.
Yeah.
It's Mob giving up on holding back.
Because every fight Mob's ever been in, he's... the goal has been to pull the other person out of it, to make them feel better about what they are.
There's exactly one fight where that was not the goal. The first fight when he's trying to save Ritsu from the dude from Claw in season 1.
Right.
That was him just beating the dude down. Because his job was, what he was trying to save was Ritsu, not that dude.
Yeah.
And then he gets knocked out with the spray. Which the dude from Claw was very unhappy having to use that. He's like, "God damn it." At any rate, yeah. So it turns out that Suzuki kind of pushed himself too far. Torichiro pushed himself way beyond the ability. He's actually about to explode.
He goes on Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
His body's a wreck, and his body's just like ignited psychic potential.
Yeah, and it's going to explode. So Mob basically tells everyone to run the fuck away. And he basically goes back and throws up a barrier around him and Torichiro. And Torichiro's like, "The fuck are you doing?
Why are you on this side of the barrier?"
"Well, if I can't save you, I can at least make sure you don't die alone." And the dude's like, what? Now, I think the implication is Mob knows he's not actually going to get blown up by this.
Right.
Or at least Mob is hoping he won't. But he wants to be there for the guy when the guy goes, if the guy does go down. Now, it turns out that that's not what happens. The guy explodes, and Mob sort of, does his whole Mob transcendent thing. Again. Do you remember when he repaired the school that he and Terumi blew up?
He basically does that again.
Yeah, and Torichiro survives. And Mob, Mob wakes up buried under something, and Regan and his brother and Terumi show up to get him out, and they leave, and Mob's walking along through these caves, and he's like, Just doesn't feel like concrete or rock. What the hell is it I'm walking on?
Why do I have a weird hole in my blazer?
Yeah, there's a hole right over his heart.
Let's not give that away.
No, that is the best joke of the show.
Yes. It's important.
At any rate, so yeah, we get a nice little coda.
We get a nice little coda. We find out what happens to Suzuki, which is horrifying. He's in some sort of like biomanacles talking with his son. And it's like, so what's gonna happen to my dad? Oh, he's almost certainly gonna get executed for what he's done. Might end up being experimented upon in a research facility. Depends if they think they can use him. And then they just walk away. They're like,
well, no, before that, he's going to be locked up for a while. The problem is, executing someone of his power level is not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So my gut feeling is actually it's basically going to be life imprisonment. They're going to go all like Magneto on him, I think. But
yeah, probably.
There's an interesting bit where he's talking with Sho, and Sho's like, and he's like, it's really too bad. My one regret is that I separated you from your mother, and you couldn't see her anymore. Sho's like, dude, I like see her like every month or so, like.
If you paid attention, you'd know this.
Like, I'm in contact with Mom. You know, she asks about you sometimes, and she I was hoping to stop you before she found out what you actually became. Didn't pull that off. She knows. She's gonna be in touch. She's not gonna let you hear the end of this.
Yeah, she's gonna visit you in prison. She says there's no way you're gonna be executed before you get an earful from her.
Because one of the things he's like, the one little bit in the flashback for his background is, he's going on about like, he has no connections. He does meet a woman, married, and have a kid, and he's talking about how like, she's saying, so what? How are you? You're being awfully sort of violent or overbearing and all this stuff, and he's like, well, that way people will listen to me. I'm powerful. They'll follow me. Everyone. She's like, so you think people will follow you because of your power? Yeah. I'm not. I'm leaving. Bye. And he's like, wait, what?
For some reason that wasn't enough to wake him up, but okay.
Yeah, well, he sort of flashes back to that. Mob sort of gets that in the flashback. Bob's like, dude, part of the reason I'm saving you is so you can verbally apologize to your wife
for being a blind idiot.
Like, I get that. There's someone I want to confess my actual feelings to also. Different type of feelings, like I'm confessing my love, you're just admitting you were a colossal asshole. But Mob doesn't say that because, it's Mob.
Mob.
But yeah, like we see what the various other members of Claw, what happens to them. Serizawa ends up getting hired by Regan.
Yes.
Regan's like, yeah, I can totally help you out, dude, and give you work, and you're Mob's friend, so I'm on board. You seem like an actual decent guy. You're actually more awkward than Mob, which is saying something.
Which is
also, if you're going to interact with customers, I'm going to have to give you a haircut. And then Regan's and Serizawa is not terrified of the haircut or like anything. I have to interact with customers. Now, having worked,
there is an amazing line that I loved. It's like, well, Regan. Serizawa's like, well, what do you want me to do? And it's like, Serizawa's like, well, Regan's like, well, what did you do in your last job? Mostly just hit people with umbrellas when they got too aggressive. Yeah, it sounds like customer service.
Oh my God!
I'm so there.
I admit when I worked retail, that's how I felt. That's how I wanted to react sometimes. At any rate, but yeah, that's the end of Mob Psycho 100 season 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was terrible. We all hated it, and we don't recommend it. No, dear fucking God, watch this show.
We just spent friggin' 2.5 hours gushing over this.
Only 2 hours, Eric.
Was it only 2 hours?
It was. But yeah,
spent 2 hours gushing over it. It's amazing.
The show is incredible. As taken as a whole between season 1 and 2, I think this might have actually crept its way into my top 5.
Yeah.
This is legitimately, Mob Psycho is legitimately one of the best anime I have ever seen. It is, from a technical visual standpoint, incredible. It is brilliantly written. It's got something to fucking say. Like, It's got Jesus fucking Christ. It's brilliant. It's just brilliant.
Mob Psycho's just good shit. Watch it. It's got something for everybody.
Like
something is awesome.
I legitimately feel that it is one of those rare can't miss shows. Like it's something everybody. It might not be your cup of tea. Don't get me wrong. It's possible you won't enjoy it, but I think everyone should give it a shot. It deserves more credit than it gets, which is saying something.
Yeah.
It's actually not saying enough. Honestly, the one drawback it's got right now is it's sort of fallen through. It's fallen through the cracks, sort of weirdly. Like people,
the whole seasonal anime thing.
Everybody who talks, yeah, everyone who's seen it, gushes about it. But there's not a lot of discussion of it that I've seen. But like again, everyone who's watching has gone, this show's incredible. And season 2 is legitimately better than season 1.
Yes.
And season 1 was fucking brilliant. Like, okay, again, 1 is a phenomenal
I really
writer.
Like season 1. Season 1 was probably the best anime for several years. Season 2 is an order of magnitude better. As a whole, and it makes season 1 better by existing. Yes.
Like the two of them together
is not an easy trick to pull either.
The whole is better than either of the parts.
Yes.
Like it's incredible. I know there's more of the manga, and I would not be shocked if another season was not forthcoming at some point. I hope it is, because jeez.
Honestly, if it
doesn't, I'm fine.
Season never happens, I'm fine.
This is a brilliant self-contained story that doesn't need anything more, but I could see more being done, and given 1's talent, as a writer, yes, give me.
Yeah.
If it happens, great. If it doesn't, great. I'm fine. I'm happy either way. Like, gee.
Yeah, it is good. It's really good.
It's legitimately. It is the best new show. It is the best series I've seen in quite some time.
I have no bad things to say about this show.
Yeah.
Like I try to find some flaw to point out. There isn't one in the show.
It's really good.
Like, it's really good.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's not
normally
perfect. Nothing is.
No.
But I think this is as close as you can legitimately get.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, there's normally we go into final thoughts, but I think we've summed it all up really.
Yeah.
Peter is just literally. Yeah, there's nothing to add.
Yeah. Okay,
why are you still listening to this? Go watch it again now.
If you've seen it before,
3 screens.
Yeah, dude. I will actually. I have a question for you, Eric.
Yes.
How does this compare to Madoka Magica for you?
Oh, they're so very different.
I know.
They're so very different.
I'm sort of thinking how this compares to Yamato for me.
Yeah.
And
Mob Psycho is definitely also in my top 5.
Yeah.
They're
because
they touch on they do. I think technically this is better executed,
and that's saying something. I will say
yeah.
it is better executed than Yamato 2199 for me. Yeah. Like I think from Yamato sticks in my number 1 spot on the sole dint of combo of nostalgia and genre preference.
Yeah.
But I think Mob Psycho 5, this might be number 2. This might have knocked Bebop down from 2 for me.
Yeah. I think I don't think I'm prepared to make a decision there. But if I were to do it objectively, like break it down like various qualities and stuff, Mob Psycho is objectively better. It's got better it's better animated, it's got better direction. But Madoka Magic's just Madoka Magic.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about it, and like you can't even make the argument that Madoka Magica took more risks, like in an animation standpoint.
No, because Jesus Christ, the risks that Mob Psycho takes.
Like Studio Bones,
Yeah.
Everybody involved in this production just
knocked it out of the fucking park.
Holy shit! Go watch the show.
Yes.
Watch the show. It is worth your. It is not just worthy of your time; it is deserving of your time.
It's really good, and it's got a really good message too. Like I can't.
I think that's the most important thing. Like a lot of shows are really good shows and entertainment value, but this show is saying something while you're watching it as well.
Yeah.
And and it's not just applicable to psychic powers. It is literally a show telling you that
it's fundamentally a show about relationships.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true of one's other major work, One Punch Man.
Yep.
Mob does it better because it's a later work of his. Like, he's gotten better as a writer since then.
I will say, season 2 of One Punch Man, I've just finished it. That's the mirror opposite of this. It's declined the original than improved upon.
And which is sad because One Punch Man was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but I will also say, from what I've seen of One Punch Man season 2, it's not that it's bad.
No,
it's just
that it's gone down.
It's just a serious step backwards from where it was.
The main issue I've got with it is I mean, not to go off on a tangent because we never do that. The main issue that I've got with it is the fact that it's filler. It's open-ended. It is season 2 continuing into 3.
It's not its own story. Yeah, it's not its own full story arc.
It picks up where where 1 left off, but it is by no means finished.
Yeah, I can see why. I can see how that could happen. I want to go read the manga actually, to compare it, because one's a good enough writer that I think he deserves that chance.
Yes.
All right. So we should probably wrap the podcast up here. Before we go too much longer and start rambling on about One Punch Man for some reason. So, Gav, have you chosen your next show?
Kinda. I've narrowed it down to 3.
Okay, so Gav, why don't you list off your 3 here, and we will surprise the audience with the next episode when we get to it.
Okay. They are all of a theme.
Okay.
The first one that I've been wanting to get around to for a while is Megalobox.
Right.
Okay.
Just because, we haven't done a sports-ish one for a while, and it also involves, robot arms punching the shit out of people. So that's it ticks my boxes. The other one, and the second one, I'm not sure it's completed yet, but I think it has, would be Gundam: The Origins.
Ooh, interesting.
Because I've heard good things about that, and I think it's about time we got Peter caught up, on the remedial version of Universal Century. So that we're going forward, we've got the other Gundam stuff to go through. And the third one is the obvious one. Yes, a lot of people have been talking about it. Oh God, it's come back. Evangelion is now on Netflix. We probably should while there's a legal source available.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. We'll decide on that.
It's been over a decade since I've seen Ava, so it'll be relatively fresh eyes for me.
It's got a new translation, and it's got some.
What? I mean, I don't know how I feel
I've heard some not so complimentary things about the new translation.
I don't know how I feel about that because
I don't either.
What's her face playing Asuka was just great. I really like Asuka.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the actual voice actors. I'm worried about the actual people who did the translation. But we'll see.
Right.
But apparently, basically, what it boils down to is, from what I've heard, and this is it's arguably too literally translated. And this is funny because I actually saw a tweet. Someone retweeted this, and this was hilarious. The woman who did the original translation for the dub got huge amounts of shit from people about doing too much interpretation, not being literal enough. And so she sees all the fanboys complaining about it being too literal, and she is cackling, saying, "Fuck you all." It's almost like translating from one language to another is not fucking easy. Especially because
Japan, if you actually read Japanese, like literal translated into English, it reads like fucking poetry.
It's weird.
You can't take it actually 100%. It's not word for word.
Yeah,
they're translating words for phrases.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyways, we should wrap up the podcast here, though.
Yes.
But anyway, it's going to be one of those three.
Yep.
So giant robots, giant pseudo biomechanical robot things, and existentialism, or metal fists.
Or dudes with cybernetic enhancements punching people. Bunch of other dudes with cybernetic enhancements.
There are going to be robot fists either way.
Yes. Set your expectations.
There's going to be some mechanical fisting happening.
Oh, Lordy. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Bye.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.